iPad, when combined with the Apple TV for AirPlay and used creatively with some of the different hardware features and apps that are available on the iPad, can be a really powerful device for teaching and instruction. I may have stated it in an earlier video, the iPad needs to be at least an iPad 3 or newer, and that includes the iPad 3, 4, the iPad Air, the iPad Air 2, and the newest one that just came out that they're just calling the iPad 5th Gen, which is the one we've purchased a lot of recently. You also have to have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled, and you should be able to swipe up and tell if you've got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled by seeing if those icons are blue. So by the way, I'm using the latest software available on the iPad. It's iOS 11, and that's why my iPad here looks like that. You can always go and check in settings, and you can go to About, and let's see here. It shows the version number 11.2.1. Some of these may have shipped in with version 10 something. If you're not on 11, it's really cool to go ahead and update that. There's some really cool things, some really nice features in there that you'll take advantage of. To update those, just go to Software Update and check for an update, and then install it. So we purchased an app called Goodnotes, and Goodnotes is a notebook, a smart notebook program that can be really useful in a classroom because it gives you a canvas to work with on your projector through AirPlay to the Apple TV. You can bring in different documents like PDFs. The iPad's really easy to take screenshots of different things, and you can annotate and demonstrate on top of those things to your class, as well as just having a canvas with different virtual paper types. When you're AirPlaying from the iPad, I highly suggest using it in landscape mode instead of the portrait mode. Right now I'm in landscape mode because I've made a habit of just using that, but if you flip it to portrait mode, you lose some of your screen real estate from your projector. You kind of want that image probably to be stretched out as much as possible to make a really big image for your class. So I'm just going to open Goodnotes and show you a little bit about it. It's a series of notebooks. You can have different categories in here, and then you can create new notebooks in those categories. And I'd suggest maybe making a category for, maybe categories for subject areas if you teach multiple. And then you can have a notebook for, like English 1 or English 2, different classes like that. And just kind of play with it and see how it works best for you. Show you a few things in Goodnotes. We've got different virtual paper types that you can take advantage of. So I just clicked on this little menu button here, those three dots, look at options, and change paper template. There's a lot of different graph paper types for our geometry teachers. There's some essentials here we got music paper. You can use ruled paper. Call some of this square paper, give you a grid. Again, I would probably use that maybe in a math class. There's a lot of, you can change, there's some different colors for paper. The yellow is pretty nice because it's not so bright on the screen. So I'm going to go with this landscape here, and if you just want to write quick notes on your board, or if you want to use it as a traditional chalkboard, obviously you can just take your stylus or your finger if you prefer, and you just start writing. And you can erase here. We've got an eraser. And you can change your different colors that you want to write with. And you can just use it like a traditional chalkboard, except you also have the option. You can take 2 fingers on any of these pages and zoom in really far. And you can, write here. And zoom back out. So you've got a lot of space to work with here. And you can zoom in. When you're airplaying, which I've shown you how to airplay, you just swipe all the way up there and choose the screen mirroring option and select your Apple TV. You'll have a little lock up here in the top right corner, and that means that you can zoom in, and only you will see how far you're zoomed in. It'll stay normal for whatever they're seeing on the screen. But if you unlock that, that'll change. What your students or your audience sees will zoom with you. I'm going to do the undo button up here in the top right and just take all that stuff off that I already put up. Let's see. So some other cool things you can do with Goodnotes here. You can take a document and import it into it on your iPad. So we're going to look on our iPad. We're going to find. We're just going to find a document on the internet. It can be a PDF from any source. PDFs are great just because of the nature of PDFs. You can, let's say we're going to get you probably won't use the school calendar, but we're going to get the school calendar for the sake of demonstration. I'm going to pull that up and I'm going to share it. I'm going to copy it. You got the share button up here in the top right from Safari. I'm going to copy it to Goodnotes. And it's going to ask me what I want to do with it. You can make new notebooks with that document. You can import it in the page above the one you were just working with or the page below. I'm going to import it below and show you that you can just come in here with something and you can draw attention to things that your students can see. You can highlight and so this would be really good, for language arts and stuff. You can obviously come in here and say school is a noun. And any document you can mark those up on your iPad, and you can still have the original. You can undo all this stuff quickly. There's not a huge amount of work to some of this. If you want a new blank page, just tap plus and add a page below. And whatever paper type you want to work with, whatever your preference is, just bring it up there. Something else you can do, you can use your iPad sort of as a document camera just by bringing up the camera. So there's different stands that you can get on an iPad that'll hold it still. But what I really like to do with this is not just show something. I like to do something with it. So I'm going to bring up Goodnotes and I'm going to add an image. You can bring in an image from any source. You can connect iCloud, Google Drive, whatever to Goodnotes here. But a cool thing you can do is quickly bring up this add button in a notebook and add an image and just use your camera. And you can take a shot of whatever. So once you've got that, you can use that photo. It's going to bring it up. You get these little handles up here that you can take your fingers and make it bigger or smaller. And then you can, let's say, you can annotate on top of that. You can pick a better color than red on this pink paper. I don't know why I have pink paper, but I have pink paper. And we're going to bring some attention to that and say already passed. We're going to bring that back out. So you can take an image, quickly take an image or a photo of something as you would a document camera, and you're not even going to touch the source material. It's still sitting there just fine on my desk, but I'm writing on top of this. And if you want to undo your annotations here, you can just use the undo button or the eraser here and do that, and it'll take stuff away. Let's see. I keep getting this one. I'm gonna just go to new. Oh, and if I want to manage some of these pages in this application, you just hit the square, and there's all the different pages in this notebook that I've made. I'm gonna edit and take those out. Just select them and trash them. And now I'm going to make a new page, and it's a blank page. Another really neat thing you can do in Goodnotes, you can take, let's say we did a lot of work here on this page, and we want our students to be able to get that outside. I'm not going to fake a whole lot of work, but I'm going to write down a whole lot of work. Class notes. We still want to have an image up here. So I'm going to pretend we're doing a document camera. We're going to go document camera, and we're going to bring in this. Great. That's going to be perfect. I don't want it huge though, so I want it right here. And I'm going to remind my students in green that this edit, and you can move it around. And for the test, we've got to know that this is a paper clip. Zoom back out. So anytime you're zooming or moving pages around, use 2 fingers. 2 fingers makes you a new page in this program. So we've got really a whiteboard here full of material that's really important for our test next week. So we want to put that out there for our students to review later. I want to export this page. Just this current page. So you can export it, and you can change the different formats. You can do an image, which is just a picture, or you can do a PDF, and we're going to call that file class notes for Wednesday. And we're going to include the annotations, which is where we wrote this is a paperclip. Export it. And you can stick it in your Google Drive. You can export it to another app, which I'll show you. You can email it to your class or parents or whoever needs it. You can put it in iCloud Drive. When you do Google Drive, it'll let you choose where you want to put it in your Google Drive. I'm going to do an external app, and let's see what it gives us. There we go. So you can put it in your Google Classroom here if you have the Google Classroom app turned on. You can put it in anything when you do that external app thing. Obviously, you can just email it or message it or AirDrop it. Let's put it in Mail, and there's our page. You don't have to do a whole notebook. You can just do a page, and you can send it to whoever your recipient is. I'm going to delete that. So that's a whole lot about Goodnotes. There's one other thing that's really cool. So if we're going to do that, if we're going to send that out, you can also send out text by using this lasso tool. I love this. You just draw a line around everything. So we've lassoed this selection of text, and you just press on that, And you can do a lot of different things with those words or whatever we've got up there. But one cool thing you can do is convert it. And it converts it to text. So it does handwriting recognition out to text. And then you can send that out. So it could be a full whiteboard of stuff just converted right into text for you. Also, speaking of the text stuff, you can do a search here. So it'll search in real time the handwritten work that you've done, and it'll highlight wherever that is and take you to that page. There's a lot more features out here, and yeah, obviously you can print if you have a printer connected. But there's a lot of features in Goodnotes that we probably haven't fully explored here, and I'm sure that you guys are going to find some really cool ways to use that. So we've seen that we can use our iPads as a virtual whiteboard here with Goodnotes. We can also use the camera and use it as a document camera, and you can show books and read books on the iPad using iBooks or other ebook readers. Of course, there's a lot of other apps out there on the App Store. If you look in the educational section or some of the productivity sections, you'll find a lot of useful things. And we will continue to work with these and try to get the most out of them for our classroom.